Hi there, and welcome back to the Energy Sector Heroes podcast. My name is Michelle Fraser, and every week I will speak with incredible people who share their lessons, experiences, and stories from their time spent in the energy sector. Hi there, and welcome back again to this week's episode. If you're new to the show, then please take a second to subscribe and even consider sharing the show with just one other person. This week I am joined by Safiya Aliyu. Safiya is the General Manager and an experienced Program Manager in the renewable energy industry. Safiya, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Michelle. My name is Safiya Aliyu. I am the General Manager at Susei Renewable Energies Company and the Country Director for Mata Ariwan Susei Initiative and the current Treasurer for Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. So how did you get started off in the energy sector?
Okay, I think it all started in 2004 when the Developmental Association for Renewable Energies was seeking volunteers to do their first CDM projects that was being done in the country. So it was quite interesting for me to meet people and see an innovative technology. So I volunteered with theirs at the time. And Habiba Ali, who is currently the CEO of Susei Renewable Energies Company, was the national coordinator and also a co-founder at the Developmental Association for Renewable Energies. So we worked together at theirs. And then in 2010, when I graduated from the university and Habiba was setting up Susei Renewable Energies Company, she co-opted me and then we started it together.
Okay. So what do you enjoy most about your current role?
I think for me, the joy of the job is the fact that I have an opportunity to use my work to touch lives and to actually see physically how the work we're doing is transforming the lives of the people we're working with, especially when you put light in a community that has been existing for over 100 years. And for the first time, they see light in their community. The joy is immeasurable and their joy just transforms. And somehow I just find myself happy too that, oh, I was in a position to actually make this happen.
Okay, how did you make that happen?
Okay, what we do is we afford renewable energy technologies in the form of solar lanterns, solar home systems, and we also do solar mini grids in communities where they do not have access to electricity at all. So we're able to size the community, understand their energy needs, and do a solution that would power this community for lighting and for other productive uses.
That is amazing. I have to say that for a start. That is an amazing thing that you do. But it's
Thank you.
also quite surreal, and it's maybe because I'm European, but it's still quite surreal that there would still be certain areas in the whole world that would be without electricity. That's how do you get them on board to get them electricity?
Okay, just so you know, about 70% of Nigeria is still not connected to the national grid. And even for the percentage that is connected to the national grid, I could say like for over 60% of them do not have constant power supply. So the need for backup power or the need for alternative power, it's very, very important here and it's very, very crucial. And we all know that electricity leads to a lot of development in the lives of people. So the question you asked is how do we take them on board? First and foremost, because of the work we do and because of what we have done in the past, we find communities coming to us themselves, writing letters and requesting to be electrified. And we have a list of all the communities that do not currently have electricity. We even have a list of the ones who have electricity but epileptic power supply. So we look at this list and we seek for funding. We go ahead to look for funding. We partner with organizations. We register with the Rural Electrification Agency. And then when we finally get the funding, we already have the list of these communities and we already have our contact persons in this community. We go ahead to do our feasibility study to know exactly the kind of solution we'll be providing to that community. And from then on, we move on with the process of doing the work and making sure that the electricity gets to that community.
So, how do you go about raising funds to do that then?
Okay, it's not a walk in the park, I must say, but sometimes we bootstrap trying to get funding from within our revenue, our funds from within the organization, from our trading activities. Sometimes, currently, we have a partner in the Netherlands whom we work with who are accessing funds from their country in debt. And also, we also seek debt in country as well to do the work. And afterwards, we come up with plans on how to pay back this debt. And we've been lucky in the past to actually get grants from USADF, which we have also used to implement mini grids in some communities in Kaduna State.
Okay, but is it hard to raise funds then?
Yes, there is no beating around the bush for it. I think the answer is yes. It's not easy to raise funds because you have to do a lot of paperwork, even if it is debt funding you're looking for. You have to do a lot of work of trying to make sure you're in the right, what do I call it? You look good enough to the funding organization or the funding institution for them to work with you. So for you to actually be that good enough for you to be investment ready, you have to do a lot of work to ensure that your processes, your books, and everything is in the right frame.
Okay, but how would you typically go about doing that then?
So for us as an organization, we already have processes in place that we work with, and we try to ensure that as we work, we're able to keep records of all that we do and also try to record the impact or monitoring and proper monitoring and evaluation of the work that we're currently doing is also something that we try to do because these are the things that you're going to present. It makes part of the document or part of the requirements that the financial institutions we want to see. And then another thing is we ensure that the work we do is top notch, such that when people want to see evidently the work we've done in the past, we are rest assured that they will go there and they will come back smiling.
Obviously, what you're doing in Nigeria is amazing, and you're an amazing woman, an amazingly strong woman to be taken on this feat. Because it would be challenging as well. What is maybe the downside of your job?
Okay, I think the downside of the job is the fact that you have to go over and beyond just to ensure that the work we're doing actually creates the kind of impact that we have anticipated it's going to create. Because behavioral change, it's not very easy. And then you have to work with people to make them understand, to make them see reasons, having to travel into very remote communities, hard to reach communities, and also trying to make a balance between your work and your life and everything as well. Managing the family, managing the work, and having to travel to very remote locations.
Is it hard working in remote locations?
I would say yes, because it's not very easy for you to leave the comfort you're used to and go into these communities where, number one, even traveling into the community in a very bad condition, not bad condition, I don't know, in the absence of a better word, I would say not in a very comfortable condition. The roads are bad. At some point, you have to park the car and maybe have to walk the remaining miles to get into that community. And then you get into this community, there is no electricity. So if you're used to your air condition or having your fan, you wouldn't have this in that community. If you're used to drinking very cold drinks, you won't get that in the community. And then the kind of food you meet there, it's not what you're currently used to. But somehow you just have to adjust and understand the people because these are the people you're planning to work with. So somehow you have to adjust and understand them and relate with them and somehow. So it's not really easy having to meet these people and forming that relationship because sometimes you just have to compromise. You compromise a lot to just make the relationship work with them.
So, do you hire and train local people to help you install and maintain the electricity in their communities?
Yes, for us at Susei, one thing we ensure as our core is in every community where we work, as a way of creating impact in this community. Besides the work we're going to do in that community, we also ensure that viability opportunities are presented to the youths in these communities. So, first and foremost, when we're done, we work with people in the community to do the work that we're there to do. And at the end of it, we also employ people in those communities to do the maintenance and management of our facility in the community as well.
Okay, you always get a lot of people who want to come and work and learn new skills so they can help make their community better.
You mean community people coming to request for internship? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, yeah. So that they can work on, if you're putting electricity into their community, do you actively train them and hire them to help with the installation into that community?
Yeah. So one of the projects we did, we recruited youths in several communities and invited them to a particular location where we trained them on how to build improved cook stoves from local materials. And then we have also trained youth on how to install solar systems and also do maintenance on solar installations. So currently, we have youth spread across the country that we could actually reach out to at any point in time when we have work to do around these places to work with them in implementing our projects or even just delegating them to get work done on our behalf. And some of them have gone ahead, honed their skills, and are currently self employed doing the work for themselves.
Okay, that's a big achievement in itself then. If you're taking someone and training them up and then they're now self-employed,
Mm,
that's really changing, not even just a community, that's changing families' lives.
yeah.
It's just an amazing what you're doing over there in Nigeria. It is, it's really amazing. So what future projects have you got coming up?
Okay, so for my Mata Ariwan Susei Initiative, the project I currently have to work on is a project where we're being funded by Mitsubishi Corporation Foundation to install solar dryers in communities where they farm cocoa. So these solar dryers are going to be installed. We establish a drying hub in these communities where all the cocoa farmers can now bring their cocoa for drying to increase the shelf life of the cocoa and also give it better monetary value when they take it out to the market because the drier the cocoa is, the better you're able to price it.
Okay, and that is really important as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really important. Is there anything else that you want to achieve in your career?
Yes. So for us, the dream is to actually see that we get to the point where there is no community to be electrified anymore. That's the dream. The dream is to see that every community in northern Nigeria has electricity and they are self reliant in terms of even agro processing because now they have electricity to do their drying, to do their milling, all kinds of agro processing. It's something that we hope to achieve in the future. So I think the work is just starting, even though Susei is about 15 years now. Mata Ariwan Susei is also about 6 years now. But I would still say the work is just starting because we have over 30,000 communities in northern Nigeria that we're still looking to give electricity and also to support with improving their livelihoods by increasing their opportunities, earn income for themselves, and promote the work they do by giving them new technologies, innovative technologies that would use electricity to make life easier for them.
I mean, that is a big challenge ahead for you. How do you think that you're going to go about achieving that?
Achieving that is by start doing the work and taking it one bit at a time. For the ones we can do, we're doing it, and then we travel the journey and see how far we can go.
I think so too. But I was going to ask you actually, because a lot of the communities are very, very old. Are they everybody on board with coming into the new technologies? Is there any communities that are maybe prefer the way it was? Because a lot of people don't like change, me included
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. So the good thing is electricity is something that brings joy, right? Everybody wants electricity. So for that part, working with people to ensure they get the electricity is usually easier. But the other part of ensuring that this electricity is used for productive use is where you now have to work with people and ensure you try to. And I think I said it earlier that behavioral change is not an easy thing to come by. And luckily, we've had experience over the years and we have strategies that we employ to see how we can work with people and ensure that we're able to change their mindset and make them accept the kind of change we're bringing to them and to improve their life positively.
I think so too, as well. I do think so. And it is amazing, amazing work that you're doing there. Going back to what you were saying before, it's hard to, I mean, like everybody, it's hard to balance workload with family life. How do you do that?
So for me, I wouldn't say it's easy, but I would say I've got very good support system. I've got support system that I always have to rely on to be able to be productive in my work. And that support system has been what I've been relying on to be able to grow to the level I am today. Yeah.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's amazing advice as well. So, you are doing an amazing job in northern Nigeria and Nigeria in general. But how do you promote the type of work that you're doing so other communities can find out and maybe approach you to get electricity in their communities?
One thing I must say is there is one medium we take for granted, and it has proved itself worthy to have been very effective from time immemorial till now, and that is word of mouth. So for us, the work we do, sometimes we do not even promote it. It promotes itself because when the work is done, the people in that community tell the community next to them, and that community next to them tells the other one. And like that, the news starts flying around, and people even start visiting the communities to see for themselves. And apart from word of mouth, we also try our best to put the work we do out there through social media. And I think we've been very lucky because people have been seeing the work we do and coming to us to even understand what we do has been also another visibility opportunity. The awards we've won as an organization has actually created visibility for the organization as well. So this is how I think the news of what we do goes around.
Okay. Is it just word of mouth and social media?
Yeah,
Yeah.
different platforms, our website as well,
What's your website called?
www.suseiren.org or www.mata Ariwan Susei Initiative.com, com.
Okay. Sounds amazing. If there's anybody listening that wants to look up this amazing lady, please do so. So, how do you go about getting new sponsorships in case any of our listeners wants to get involved?
So for us, like I told you, it's not a walk in the park getting funding to get the job done. We do a lot of applications, grant applications. Whenever we see an opening for application, we try to put in submissions and all that. Doing all this writing and submission, it's always a huge task on its own, but we always try to do it knowing, having in mind what we plan to achieve with the funding when it finally comes through. So that keeps us going, looking for opportunities and doing the applications. And when we see business opportunities as well, we approach financial institutions to get either debt funding or equity, depending on what is available and what we actually want to do with the funding. So we are very open to partnership, and we would like to see people come around and ask how we could work together. So at any point in time, people can reach out to me either via email or phone call or text messages or any of the platforms. And we could talk through how we could work together to create more impact in the lives of people.
I think that's amazing, though. That is very amazing. So, what advice would you give to men and women who want to come into industry and be a leader?
The first thing is they need to find out what's their drive, and then they need to understand what they are coming in for. Are they coming in for to get rich, or they are coming in to create impact? If they are coming in for the first, they might be disappointed. But if they are coming in for the latter, I think that will keep them going until they get to the peak and maybe they get rich in future.
Yeah, yeah. I think we all want to be rich in some sort of way. I can certainly relate to that. Yes. But what motivates you when times get tough in your job?
I try to count my blessings. I try to count the wins that we already have. And I tell myself, if this was possible, then it means more are still possible.
Do you really think that everything is possible? Because
There is always a way out. There is always a way. There is always a way.
you think so.
You just have to find the way, but there is always a way.
I do.
That's my belief. Yes.
I do believe that as well. But it's also very hard work to find a way.
Yes.
It is. It is. It is.
Sometimes we don't even like the way when we find it, but there is always a way.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, when you were starting out in your career, did you always know that this is the type of work that you were wanting to do?
No. I think when I was quite young, I wanted to be a medical doctor because for me, impacting the lives of people has always been an inherent trait I wanted to achieve. Impacting the lives of people is something that has always touched me in a way. And then what I was thinking was to become a medical doctor who could actually be there to support people and prescribe medicines that could actually heal people from whatever kind of illnesses they were facing. So, with that kind of empathy, I think growing up and then getting into school and not studying medicine changed my direction towards what other way can I achieve this. And when I found the opportunity in Susei, I think somehow I just felt, okay, I think I could grow in this. And I started taking courses and started learning in the job and growing alongside learning in the job. And I think for me now, I understand this is where I want to be and this is the journey I think I want to travel.
Okay. Do you ever maybe regret taking this journey instead of being a medical doctor?
I couldn't change the narrative by making myself a medical doctor because unfortunately, when I was getting into the university, I didn't get admission to study medicine. My whole dream already got shattered at that point. And then, like they say, make lemonade out of your lemon. And I try to understand, okay, what do I have currently that I think I could enjoy doing? And somehow I found my way into the renewable energy sector.
Okay.
And I don't think I've had regrets so far.
Do you think the renewable energy sector in Nigeria is the future?
Yes, renewable energy is the future everywhere. So even in Nigeria, it is the future.
Because Nigeria is quite a very oil rich country.
Renewable energy is the future because with time, we would have to start moving away from the exploration of the oil and looking for alternative. And renewable energy is just the energy we'll be looking out for.
Okay, I do agree as well. We have to move away from the oil to some point, I think so. So, as you're quite a strong leader, powerful woman, strong leader, what qualities do you think you need to become a strong leader?
Patience, one, hard work, putting in the work, tenacity. And I think I'm looking for the word to call it, but you have to be open to learning because you would only get better by learning. So I think these are the traits that you need to have to be a very strong leader.
Do you think that even when you become at the top of your career,
Empathy is
yeah,
something I left out because you work with people. Yes.
yeah, I was going to say, even when you're at the top of your career, which is, which you are, do you think that you ever have to stop learning? Do you always have to be continuously learning?
You have to continuously learn because time changes. So you also have to learn to catch up with time. Yeah.
Okay, I never heard that before because everything changes all the time.
Yes. So you have to learn to be able to change in the right direction. So you just have to keep learning.
But it's changing quite hard. It is quite hard to change and adapt.
Okay, I think it depends on how you see change. If you're open to change, you wouldn't think change is hard. But
Mm.
if you're the kind of close minded person and you really do not like to change, you would think change is hard. But if you're open to learning, you always see change as an interesting opportunity to explore.
Okay, I do agree with that actually. Very wise advice. So, I'm going to ask you maybe one final question. If you had any advice to give to any younger graduates who wanted to come into the renewable energy sector, what would that be?
I would tell them to look into the sector and understand what the sector is all about, find their niche in the sector, and then pursue it.
And that's strong, really good advice as well. I'm going to wrap things up there. So that's all the questions I have today. I would like to thank Safiya for your time. That brings us to the end of another episode. Thanks for listening and see you next week. That brings us to the end of another episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, I'd like to gently encourage you to leave a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts and share the show with another person. You can also follow me on LinkedIn or via my website, www.michellefraserconsultancy.com. Thanks again for listening and see you next week.